this video lecture, we will discuss another type of the super heterodyne radio receiver. In a previous lecture, we have discussed about a TRF receiver. And what are the disadvantages of the TRF receiver? Also, we have discussed the major disadvantage of the TRF receiver is, first of all, it is unstable. So there is a instability of the receiver is there. And why it is a instability? Because it is a very high gain on a same frequency. And this gain is almost 10⁶ times will be there. So 10 lakhs times the gain will be there. So what will happen in this case? That in a radio receiver, in TRF receiver, here the input is a kind of an antenna, and where your input signal is in order of a microvolt. Then after processing this, the signal is converted in the range of a voltage V. So this signal, here whatever the signal is there, it is very strong. Here the input a signal is very weak, antenna is very sensitive. So what will happen? If there will be some kind of a feedback, and due to this higher voltage, if there will be a small radiation will be there, then this small radiation will be picked up by the antenna, and the same signal is going to be entered into the radio. And due to this, sometimes what will happen, that whatever the RF amplifier we use here we have two stages of the RF amplifier. Then this RF amplifier may be converted into a oscillator. That is a instability of the receiver. Then the second disadvantage we have discussed, that is a variation in bandwidth. Variation in the bandwidth. As we change the tuning frequency, then the bandwidth is also changing. And we have discussed that if we are changing a lower frequency, let us say it is a 540 kilohertz, in that case the bandwidth is a 10 kilohertz. And as we tune a higher frequency, that is 1640 kilohertz, then the bandwidth is increasing to a 16.4 kilohertz. So the bandwidth of the receiver is going to increase, and due to that, as the bandwidth is increasing, then due to that, what will happen? The selectivity is going to be poor. Selectivity will be poor in the sense that whatever the adjacent stations are there, it will be also entered through the antenna, it will be entered into the amplifier and will be amplified, and there will be a kind of a interference. Again, here that as we change a tuning frequency from lower to higher, then the Q of the amplifier is changing, and due to this, the bandwidth of the amplifier is also changing. And as the frequency is increasing, the bandwidth is also increasing. As the bandwidth will increase, then what will happen? The adjacent station will be also received by the amplifier circuit. It will be also amplified by the RF amplifier, and there will be a kind of a interference. So these are the two major disadvantages of a TRF receiver. Now, then this disadvantage can be overcome if we use a super heterodyne receiver. So let us see what is the super heterodyne principle, and then we will discuss the block diagram of a super heterodyne receiver. In a super heterodyne receiver or a super heterodyne principle, we have two different frequencies, and that is going to be a mix in a mixer state. So here in a super heterodyne receiver, the important part or the important component is a mixer stage. Now this mixer stage has two inputs. One of the input is my signal frequency, that is represented as Fs. Signal frequency means the frequency which you are going to tune or you are going to select. Then the another frequency is there which is known as a oscillator frequency. This signal frequency is a kind of a modulated wave. Remember, here this signal is my amplitude modulated wave and my oscillator frequency is simply a sine wave. Now, what this frequency here? This frequency we represent this as a FO. The Fs and the FO is going to be mixed in the mixer stage. Remember, mixer stage is nothing but it is a kind of a class C amplifier. Remember, this is a class C amplifier. Means the transistor is operating almost in a non-linear region. And due to this non-linear region, here it is going to generate a number of the harmonics. So if we see the output of the mixer stage, then you will find a signal frequency Fs will be there, FO will be there, then the FO plus Fs will be there, FO minus Fs. The number of the frequency is going to be generated in the output of the mixer stage. You can also have a kind of a harmonic 2Fs, 2FO. There will be addition and the subtraction of this harmonics will be also. The number of the components are present. Out of all these different frequencies, we are going to select a difference of these two frequencies, FO minus Fs. This frequency is known as a intermediate frequency. So, sometimes it is represented as a IF or it is also represented as Fi and it is FO minus Fs. So, this indicates that my oscillator frequency should be higher than the signal frequency. Here in this mixer state, always you have to remember that oscillator frequency is greater than the signal frequency. Why it is greater? That we will discuss later on in the next lecture. Why the oscillator frequency is greater than the signal frequency. So, here in the output of the mixer state, the number of the harmonics are present, but we are selecting FO minus Fs and that frequency is known as intermediate frequency. The modulation of the input and the modulation of the intermediate frequency will be the same. Means whatever the information is with the signal frequency, same information will be with the FO minus Fs. So here if you see this waveform of this FO minus Fs, then it will be like a modulated wave. But whatever the inside the carrier frequency is there, that is FO minus Fs. The information of this input signal and the information of this IF will be same as it is. Only the carrier frequency is going to be a lower. Why we are selecting the FO minus FS, not a FO plus FS? There is also a reason. But this will be also we will discuss in the next lecture. Correct? Now here in a AM transmitter or in AM receiver, the FO minus FS, it is a fixed value. Here the intermediate frequency IF, always it is a 455 kilohertz. So in India, whatever the radio we have, in all the radio, the intermediate frequency is 455 kilohertz. In foreign country, the whatever the radio we have, in that case, the intermediate frequency is 455 kilohertz. But remember, in any radio, the intermediate frequency will be between the 450 to 460 or 65 kilohertz. So here in the normal we use a intermediate frequency of a 455 kilohertz. Now what does this mean? Let's suppose my signal frequency Fs is a 1000 kilohertz. Now what I want, that at the output I want the intermediate frequency of a 455 kilohertz. It means the oscillator has to generate a frequency of 1455 kilohertz. Then only you can have a difference of FO minus FS as a 455 kilohertz. Now, here, for any signal frequency, always the intermediate frequency will remain constant. Remember, for any frequency, the intermediate frequency will remain constant. It means now instead of 1000 kilohertz, here, instead of 1000 kilohertz, if my signal frequency is, let us say, a 600 kilohertz, I am tuning a radio for 600 kilohertz. In that case, the oscillator frequency will be, if you add this, then this will be a 1055 kilohertz. Then again, if you find the difference of this, then it will be always a 455 kilohertz. If you are tuning a Fs is equal to a 1440 kilohertz, then the oscillator frequency will be 1440 plus 455, and that will be 1895 kilohertz will be there. So again you will get a difference of 455. Means what I mean to say, that if we change a signal frequency, or if you are tuning any different frequency, then the oscillator frequency is also simultaneously changing, so that the difference frequency, that is the intermediate frequency, will always remain constant. So here there will be at the input also there will be a tank circuit. In an oscillator also there will be a tank circuit, and in a tank circuit both the capacitors are connected together, gang together. So if one of the capacitor is changed, then another capacitor will also simultaneously change, and the difference between the FO minus FS will always remain constant. So this is the superheterodyne principle, that the two frequencies is going to be mixed and another frequency is going to be produced. But remember, here my input frequency is higher than the intermediate frequency. Fs is higher than the intermediate frequency. Now it is not necessary that always the mixer will produce the lower one. It can also produce the higher one, and in different application it is also that the IF is also selected as a FO plus FS. So that the intermediate frequency will be greater than the signal frequency. Right? Now what is the advantage? Here the advantage is there that input frequency, remember input frequency is Fs and the output frequency is IF. So input and output, both the frequency are different. So if this frequency is very strong, when the amplitude is very large, and if it will be tried to enter again into the mixer state, then the whatever the tank circuit or the tune circuit is at the input of the mixer state will be reject the 455 kilohertz. It will reject the 455 kilohertz. So in a TRF receiver, we have the problem of the feedback. Here, this problem will be resolved with this. Second thing, the input frequency is Fs and the gain of the mixer will be there. Then we have 455 kilohertz. So this 455 kilohertz will be amplified by some other amplifier which is known as the IF amplifier. So if we see the gain of the amplifier is large, but it is at different frequency. So the bandwidth or the variation of the Q will not take place. So at the input, if I am changing the frequency Fs, but the 455 kilohertz is going to remain constant. So whatever the next step is there, for that next step, the Q will remain constant, the bandwidth will also remain constant, and in that sense, you can say the selectivity will also remain same. So by using this mixer stage, we can improve the selectivity, we can improve the sensitivity also. This is the advantage of a super heterodyne principle. Now let us see a block diagram of a super heterodyne radio receiver. So if we see this block diagram of this radio receiver, it is almost identical to the TRF receiver. Only thing is that this mixer stage and the local oscillator is added in the TRF receiver. Correct? So this is an extra block compared to the TRF receiver. Now let us see what is the function of this super heterodyne radio receiver. So again, any kind of the receiver we have, always at the input there will be an antenna, and this antenna here, whatever the antenna we have, it is nothing but simply a conducting wire. This antenna is receiving a different signal from the different transmitter, and it is a electromagnetic wave. So whatever the electromagnetic wave is there, it is inducing the EMF in the wire. So the small amount of the voltage is going to be produced. Now remember, the number of the transmitters are there. So we have a different radiation will be there. We are receiving the frequency F1, F2 is there, F3 is there, and here we have a combined voltage V. Now out of all these different transmitters, we want to listen a particular station, and let us say this particular station is F. It means the rest of the frequency F1, F2, F3 has to be rejected, and for that rejection of this frequency, here at the input we have a kind of a tank circuit. Remember, so here this kind of a tune circuit or the tank circuit will be there. Now we know that it is a parallel combination of L and C. So for this particular frequency F, we have this maximum voltage, that is F, The maximum voltage will be there, V maximum, and for the rest of the frequency, here you have a F1, F2, F3, F4. For the rest of the frequency, the output voltage is very small. It means that this frequency is rejected by the tune circuit. So, here whatever the frequency you want to select or you want to listen, that frequency you can tune with the help of this tuning section, that is a parallel combination of L and C. So at the input, we have a frequency Fs. Remember, this frequency Fs will be there. Then this Fs is a kind of a modulated wave. Remember, here this signal is a amplitude modulated wave, but the amplitude of this signal is very small. It is in order of a microvolt, and therefore we have to amplify through this RF amplifier. And already in the previous lecture I have mentioned that RF amplifier is nothing but it is a kind of a tune amplifier. It is a tune amplifier. The bandwidth of the RF amplifier is very large, but it is amplifying a one particular frequency, whatever the input frequency Fs is there. So, what is the advantage of this RF amplifier? That it is amplifying the signal. So, what will happen? The signal to noise ratio is going to be improved. Signal to noise ratio will increase. Means at the input, if there will be a kind of a noise, it will be rejected by the RF amplifier. It will be rejected by the RF amplifier, and then the gain of the signal will be there. So in the output of this, here if we see, the signal is going to be amplified like this. It can be a 10, 20 or 100 times signals will be there. It will be in order of few millivolt. Input signal is in microvolt. This will be in order of few millivolt. Will be. In some of the radio receiver, you can also have a two-stage of the RF amplifier. Okay. Then it is given to the mixer stage. Mixer stage I already mentioned, it has a two input. One of the input is by modulated wave, and that is the frequency Fs is there. Then another one is a local oscillator. This local oscillator is nothing but it is a kind of a LC oscillator. Remember, this is a LC oscillator. Already you learned the different types of the LC oscillator: Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, Clapp oscillator. Correct? So one of that oscillator will be there, and always in a LC oscillator there will be again a tank circuit will be here to select that frequency. That one tank circuit will be in the local oscillator, and local oscillator frequency that can be changed by changing this capacitor. Okay? That is F is equal to 1 upon 2 pi root LC. So here at the input we have the frequency FO. Then already mentioned that the output of the mixer stage you can have a FO plus Fs and FO minus Fs, but the FO plus Fs is not selected. FO minus Fs is selected, which is known as a intermediate frequency Fi. And in case of a AM receiver, this intermediate frequency is always a constant and it is a 455 kilohertz. If we see the waveform for this, then it will be identical. It will be identical to the signal frequency. Only thing is the carrier frequency will be changed. So here, inside this frequency is a 455 kilohertz. But whatever the modulation or my information is there, the same information will be with the intermediate frequency. So at the input frequency is Fs. Now output of the mixer we have F0 minus Fs. And I already mentioned that always the oscillator frequency will be greater than the signal frequency Fs. Then we have discussed that for any kind of a signal frequency, the intermediate frequency has to remain constant. That is a 455 kilohertz. Means as I am changing my signal frequency, the oscillator frequency has to be changed. As we increase or decrease the signal frequency, the oscillator frequency should also increase or decrease. Then only you can have a constant difference that is of a 455 kilohertz. That's why whatever the capacitor is at the input, which is known as a CS, and the capacitor which is a part of the oscillator, both are variable and they are gain and they are connected to each other. That is a mechanical connection will be there. So whenever you tune, whenever you change the position of this capacitor CS, then simultaneously the oscillator capacitor will also change. Here the CS will increase, then the oscillator capacitor will also increase. CS will decrease, the oscillator capacitor will also decrease. This is known as the gain capacitor. This is known as the gain capacitor. And mechanically both are connected together. So in a radio, whenever we change a station, means we are changing the tuning frequency. Tuning frequency is changed, that will change the oscillator frequency also. Then only the difference of these two frequencies is remaining constant. Okay. So now whatever the IF frequency is there, it is going to be amplified by 2 or 3 stages of the IF amplifier. 2 or 3 stages of the IF amplifier, and this IF amplifier is again nothing but it is a tune amplifier. Here this IF amplifier has to amplify only a fixed frequency, that is a 455 kilohertz. So the bandwidth will also remain constant. The bandwidth of this IF amplifier will be approximately of a 10 kilohertz. The gain, here we have a 2 stage of the IF amplifier. So the gain of this amplifier will be very large. So it will determine, this will determine the sensitivity as well as it will determine the selectivity of the radio receiver. So the gain is large, that is the sensitivity, and the selectivity means here the bandwidth of the amplifier is 10 kilohertz and that is a constant. Why the bandwidth is constant? Because my input frequency is also a constant, so there will not be a variation of the Q. And due to that, the selectivity is also improving, the sensitivity is also improving by using a 2-stage of the IF amplifier. You can also have a 3-stage of the IF amplifier. So what is the advantage of the IF amplifier? What is the advantage? That the input frequency is a constant one, so the bandwidth of the amplifier remains constant, and that's why the selectivity will not vary. Selectivity will not vary with the frequency. Then if you look at this, what is the waveform at the output of this? So here if we see, then the intermediate frequency is going to be amplified. So it will be, larger signal will be there. This is a Fi and it is a 455 kilohertz. Because to drive the detector stage, you cannot apply the signal which is in order of a millivolt. This AM detector circuit consists of what? It consists of a diode plus filter circuits are there. So it is an envelope detector. Already you know what is the function of the detector circuit. That it will separate out the information from the carrier wave. Here, where is your information? Where is your information? That information means this one. It is my modulating frequency FM. Inside whatever the frequency we have, intermediate frequency AFI. But we are interested only in the frequency FM. So we use the linear diode detector circuit with some filter so that the intermediate frequency will be filtered out and only you will get a frequency FM. So here if you see, then only the information will be present. The carrier frequency or the IF frequency is filtered by the capacitor filter. So now this modulating frequency or my information, this is nothing but it is your information. So this signal is weak, then we have to amplify through the audio amplifier. Directly if you give it to the loudspeaker, then it cannot drive the loudspeaker. To drive the loudspeaker, we require a kind of a power amplifier that last time already mentioned. It can be a push-pull amplifier, it can be a complementary pair amplifier. So this audio amplifier is nothing but it is a kind of a power amplifier. What is power amplifier? That it is amplifying the voltage as well as the current. Because to drive the loudspeaker, we require the current. And that's why in a final stage of the radio, we have to use a powered amplifier. Now to increase or decrease the intensity of the sound, here at this input of the audio amplifier, we can put a kind of a potentiometer which will work as a volume control. So by changing this, you can change the amplitude of your modulating signal and the intensity of the sound can be also increased or decreased. So in a radio, whatever the volume control is there, always the volume control is between the detector stage and the audio amplifier. So here the audio amplifier is amplifying your signal like this, and then it is given to the loudspeaker. So loudspeaker is converting your electrical signal into the sound wave, into this sound wave, and in that way you can collect the information. So this is about a super heterodyne radio receiver. Now in this super heterodyne receiver, you can see one more facility is there, and that facility is known as the AGC. Here. Here you can see the AGC is there. What is the full form of the AGC? That is known as a automatic gain control. It is known as the automatic gain control. Now, why we require this kind of the facility? Because we know that at the input of the radio receiver, the different signals are coming, and whatever the different signals are coming from the different transmitter, they are not of a same amplitude. The intensity of the radiation will be a different. Suppose if we have the F1, which is incident on this antenna, is producing a signal of a 5 microvolt. F2 is producing a, let us say, a 100 microvolt. And if this F3 is a local station, means your receiver is very near to the transmitter, then it can produce a signal of a 2 millivolt. So what will happen? When you tune a F1, that input signal is a 5 microvolt, then the intensity of the sound in a radio receiver will be less. But suddenly when you tune to a local station which has a strength of a 2 millivolt, then the intensity of the sound will increase, because the input signal itself is a very strong. So the intensity of the sound will be also very high. So in that way, when we change the different station, then the intensity of the sound is also going to be varied. So if you want to keep a constant intensity of the sound, the gain of the amplifier has to remain also a constant. So that's why here one more facility is added with this, that is called a automatic gain control, so that your intensity of the sound output signal will remain constant. And it is a kind of a reverse AGC. This is also known as the reverse AGC. Remember, why it is known as the reverse AGC? Because suppose my input signal is of a 2 millivolt, then here whatever the in a detector circuit, I already mentioned there is a diode, and the rectification is also taking place. So due to this rectification, some DC voltage is going to be produced. And that voltage will be large. If my input signal is 2 millivolt, then this DC voltage will be large. Now this DC voltage is applied to the RF amplifier, mixer stage or IF amplifier as a reverse bias. Remember, whatever the AGC voltage is there, it is applied as a reverse bias. So input signal will be large, so you will get a large DC voltage, and therefore there will be a large reverse bias on the amplifier. And due to this large reverse bias, the gain of the amplifier will decrease. So that the output voltage of the AM detector will be decreased. Now when you tune a signal which is of a 10 microvolt, then here whatever the DC voltage will be generated, it will be a small. It means the reverse bias on the RF amplifier, mixer stage and the IF amplifier will be less. So reverse bias will decrease, so the gain of all these amplifiers will increase. And as a result, the amplitude of the output of the AM detector will also increase, and the intensity of the sound will also increase. So as you are tuning a different frequency at the input, then the DC voltage produced at the detector stage will be also changed. This is work as a reverse bias to all the amplifier circuit, and it will try to keep the gain of the amplifier constant. As a result, your sound coming out from the loudspeaker will also remain constant. So every time we don't have to change the volume control. And that's why the ADC circuit is added in the super heterodyne radio receiver. So what is the advantage? What is the advantage of the super heterodyne radio receiver? That the first one, if you see, the input frequency is Fs, the output frequency is Fi. Remember, suppose this is going to be tuned. Here, your radio, it is going to be tuned for 1000 kilohertz. Correct? And the frequency at this point is a 455 kilohertz. Fs is 1000 kilohertz, and this is a 455 kilohertz. So the frequency is go on changing, and this frequency, that intermediate frequency, will be very strong. So if there will be some kind of a radiation, and it will try to enter into the radio through a antenna. If the radiation is powerful, this radiation is picked up by the antenna, but at the input, whatever the tank circuit is there, this tank circuit is tuned for what? Fs is equal to 1000 kilohertz. So whatever the 455 kilohertz will be picked up by this antenna, it will be rejected, and it cannot be entered into the radio receiver. Second thing, that if there will be some image frequency will be there. What is the image frequency? That we will discuss later on. So if the image frequency is there, it is also rejected by this tune circuit, and it cannot be entered into this. So whatever the instability was there in a TRF receiver, due to this kind of a feedback, it is automatically solved if you use the mixer stage. Then second thing, that here the gain of the amplifier is going to be a different for the different frequency. Input is Fs, output is Fi. This stage of the amplifier is amplifying for the Fi. Here this Fs, this is amplifying the frequency Fs. This is amplifying a Fi, and this mixer stage is generating a different frequency. So you cannot calculate the overall gain for a same frequency, and that's why the stability of the amplifier is increasing. Second thing, that the IF amplifier, that bandwidth is constant. Bandwidth is constant. So if there will be any kind of the variation at the input, if the Q will be vary, yet in this training section, Q will be vary means what will happen? The bandwidth will also vary. Bandwidth is vary means what? The selectivity will also change. So if there will be a change in the bandwidth or the selectivity at the input, but when the signal is coming at this stage where the bandwidth is a constant, the Q is also a constant, because the Fi is constant. Fi is constant. Therefore, here we don't have any kind of a variation in the output of the range. So bandwidth is remain constant. The selectivity will remain constant. And here we have a two-stage of the IF amplifier. Due to that, the gain is going to be large, so the selectivity of the receiver will be also a larger one. Okay? So these are the advantage of using a super heterodyne radio receiver.